I'm Vimal Watlu, former chairman and managing director of TCIL, a Government of India enterprise, and a board director of Public Police NGO. I welcome you all to today's event of Public Police NGO. We at Public Police NGO have started a webinar series on topics which are of immediate concern to the general public. In the past, we have had webinars on topics like how safe and secure are our bank deposits? Is it feasible to have CCTV systems in police stations? Effective implementation of human rights in India, role of telemedicine in mitigating the current health challenges that was during the peak period of COVID. Are the under trials in India getting true justice? Handling the challenges posed by misleading advertisement. We had a couple of webinars on that. And also misleading price tags, discounts on medicines, and generic medicines, a dream project of the Honorable Prime Minister, and on Uniform Civil Code. These have been uploaded on our Public Police NGO channel on the YouTube. Today, the subject of our next topic in the series is Navigating the Golden Years, Senior Citizens, Social Security, Challenges and Solutions. Well, ladies and gentlemen, senior citizens in their youth would generally have contributed immensely towards bringing up their families against all odds and also towards nation building. It is expected that towards the twilight of their life, when they are vulnerable physically and mentally, they would have something to fall back upon. In the Indian setup, elders were given a special place in the family and also at the social level. So old age actually used to be the golden years when an individual's responsibility would be over and he or she could pursue passions which in the struggle of the youth in bringing up a family and meeting various challenges, they would have been deprived of. With passage of time, with the Western ways of living becoming models for large section of Indian society, a lot of transformation has happened in the society, which has had a major impact on senior citizens and their physical and social security as well. There are indeed problems of elder abuse or elder neglect in the society today. A number of factors contribute to this issue. One is, of course, the changing family structure. Traditional family structure in India were characterized by strong intergenerational bonds and sense of responsibility towards caring for elderly parents. With rapid urbanization, migration, and changing values led to shift in the family dynamics. Economic factors also could have played some role where families facing financial difficulties might find it difficult to really take care of their elders. Urbanization is one such factor where in rural areas, the elderly are left behind, leading to their isolation and neglect. Gender dynamics. Gender plays a role as caregiving responsibilities are often disproportionately placed on the female members. This can lead to stress and neglect if the caretaker is unable to balance caregiving with other responsibilities. Cultural changes. We have talked about some of these cultural changes where priorities have changed. Lack of awareness. Elder abuse and neglect remains largely unreported due to factors like lack of awareness, fear of stigma, and dependence on family members for support. Legal and policy framework. India does have legal provisions for protection of senior citizens, including the Maintenance and Welfare of Parents and Senior Citizens Act. However, the enforcement and awareness of these laws can be limited. And one important factor is also the emotional and psychological impact. Elders' neglect and disownment can have severe emotional and psychological consequences on elderly parents, leading to feelings of isolation, depression, and even deteriorating health physically. We at Public Police NGO have been deliberating on this issue for some time, and recently we have written to Honorable Prime Minister requesting him to establish a national commission for senior citizens on the lines of Women's Commission. Today in our webinar, we shall discuss some other facets of this challenge in detail and also what remedial measures can be taken in the Indian context with our esteemed panelists. Today, we are privileged to have our chairman and former Chief Justice of India and chairman of National Human Rights Commission, Justice K.G. Balakrishnan, with us. Besides this, the panelists on this webinar are Shri J.K. Gupta. He is the president of Varisht Nagrik Care Society and also member of Senior Citizens Advisory Council of Delhi Police. He has been the head of public relations of WAPCOS India, a public service enterprise. Shri Yashovardhan Azad is a well-known activist at present, and he also has been the former Special Director of Intelligence Bureau. Shri Dharmendra Dev Mishra, former Chairman, Board of Revenue, Uttar Pradesh, and Vice Chairman, Public Police NGO. Shri P.K. Malhotra, the former Law Secretary, Government of India, and board member of Public Police NGO. We are thankful to him for agreeing to participate in today's event, despite his packed schedule for the day. To make the webinar more interactive, I would request the participants to pose their questions in the chat box so that they can find answers during the course of this webinar. To begin with, I would request our chairman, Justice Balakrishnan, for his opening remarks. He has had a very busy schedule and has been kind enough to spare a few minutes for us. Well, sir, I would request you to give your opening remarks.
Dear participants, I am very happy to note that you have started the open day seminar on this very vital and important issue, because the old people, our parents and grandparents, are neglected to a great extent by the society. We cannot simply ignore this problem. We should have a legal protection against this sort of neglect to our elders. So that is only possible only by a proper senior citizen society or senior citizen commission or senior citizen body, just in the form of NHS. So the commission shall ensure that their rights are protected. Nobody shall be neglected. The children, after taking away the valuable property from their parents, simply ignore them and they throw them in ditches. This is something which is very common. It was very rare in the previously, but now it is very common, because all want to enjoy the life with the property and finance earned by somebody else. So this shall not be a daily routine. So law should protect, and there are large number of people prepared to give their contribution in the form of voluntary work. Their service also should be taken by the commission, and it could be very effectively done. And the government of India is thinking in that line. We should make a strong public opinion for making this a successful mission. So that is very, very essential, and in that way, this seminar is very, very important. I would like to hear the valuable contributions made by the various participants. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your address, sir. I can see that you spare your valuable time between two meetings. You're still traveling. I'm sure this address of yours would serve as a food for thought during the course of our panel discussion today. Thank you, sir. Now we come to the panelists of today's session. I shall request all the panelists for their opening remarks. and with a request to restrict it to 2 minutes each. So we'll start with Sri J.K. Gupta.
I'm really thankful, Waklu Saab, and my regard to all the panelists, especially our chairman Saab. So, सर आज जिस काम के लिए हम इकट्ठे हुए हैं 50 साल पहले कभी सोचा नहीं था कि कभी ऐसी भी नौबत आ सकती है अब हम सीनियर सिटीजन के बारे में डिस्कस करें। तब सीनियर सिटीजन को या पेरेंट्स को या ग्रैंड पेरेंट्स को हम भगवान मानते थे, क्योंकि हमारी ज्वाइंट फैमिली होती थी, एक ही जगह सारे रहते थे, और तब कोई ऐसी बात कभी किसी के मन में भी नहीं आई थी। तब तक हम खाना नहीं खाते थे जब तक पहले बुजुर्गों को नहीं खिला लेते थे। स्कूल जाते थे, कॉलेज जाते थे, प्रणाम करके ऋषिबल लेके निकलते थे। खैर मैं ज्यादा नहीं कहूंगा, इन्हीं 2 वर्षों में मैंने ये जो इस कारण। अब बात आ जाती है सीनियर सिटीजन की आइसोलेशन, लोनलीनेस के बारे में। और सबसे बड़ी प्रॉब्लम कहाँ आ रही है, और भी ज्यादा, इससे भी ज्यादा, जब एक पार्टनर चला जाता है, जो एक पार्टनर रह जाता है, उसकी तो पोजीशन बहुत ही ज्यादा खराब है। हमने बहुत केसेस हैं, क्योंकि मैं अपनी संस्था के साथ 10 साल से जुड़ा हूँ, प्रेसिडेंट काम कर रहा हूँ। हमें अपनी पर्सनल प्रॉब्लम दिखाई देती है, हमारे अपने में बड़ी क्लोजली हम वॉच करते हैं। तो आप समस्या क्या हुई है, एक तो हमारी जो फैमिलीज हैं वो डिसइंटीग्रेट हो गई है, तो दूसरी कोई भी जो सिंगल रह जाते हैं उनको तो बिल्कुल ही कोई नहीं पूछता, वो बेचारे इंतजार करते हैं। कई बार तो वो कह ही देते हैं गुप्ता जी आप तो हमें इंतजार कर रहे हैं, भगवान कब हमें ऊपर बुलाएगा। तो ऐसी की ज्यादा पोजीशन हो रखी है, तब आंखों में आंसू भी आते हैं, हमें ही अपने आप पे लज्जा आती है भी ये क्यों हो रहा है ऐसा। तो सर ये जो प्रॉब्लम बढ़ती जा रही है दिन ब दिन, और हमारी पॉपुलेशन बढ़ रही है, और दिन ब दिन ये पोजीशन भी बढ़ती जा रही है। मैं इतना भी जरूर कहूंगा कि बाकी जो जितने भी मेरे पास फैक्ट्स हैं मैं बाद में बात करता हूं, पर अभी मैं यही आके क्लोज करूंगा। सर इट इज अ वेरी वेरी एक्यूट एंड सीरियस प्रॉब्लम, वी शुड ऑल टुगेदर अप्रोच टू द गवर्नमेंट, प्राइम मिनिस्टर, और जो भी कोई अथॉरिटी है। वी आर लकी एनफ, रिटायर्ड चीफ जस्टिस ऑफ इंडिया देयर, वो हमारे चेयरमैन है, उनके थ्रू हम कहीं भी अप्रोच कर सकते हैं और हमारी आवाज सुनी जाएगी। जैसे अभी बात हो रही थी वो कमीशन बनाने की, सीनियर, दैट इज द बेस्ट चॉइस, और हम सारे मिल भी सकते हैं, मेमोरेंडम भी दे सकते हैं, तो उसके बाद कोई ना कोई इसका हल भी निकाल सकते हैं। बाकी फैक्ट्स जो भी है मेरे पास वो मैं बाद में प्लेस करता हूँ। थैंक यू।
थैंक यू गुप्ता साहब, आपने बहुत एक इम्पोर्टेंट पॉइंट बताया इसमें कि सिंगल जो रह जाते हैं पार्टनर्स एक जाने के बाद, उनके लिए प्रॉब्लम ज्यादा सीवियर हो जाती है, उन पे ज्यादा अटेंशन फोकस करना चाहिए। Now I'll request Shri Yashovardhan ji for his opening remarks.
Thank you very much for calling me. देखिए, जहां तक हमारे वृद्ध पॉपुलेशन का सवाल है, ये सबों को मालूम है क्या कारण है, एटॉमिक सोसाइटी वगैरह वगैरह। मैं उस पर नहीं जाना चाहता हूं। मैं समझता हूं इस सेमिनार का तभी अच्छा उपयोग हो सकता है अगर हम वाकई उस पर फोकस करें कि हम क्या कर सकते हैं इसके बारे में। 5 तरह की समस्या है बेसिकली। एक तो है लोनलीनेस का, अकेलापन, इसमें कोई शक नहीं है, और मैं समझता हूँ रूरल एरियाज में कम है, मेट्रोज में ज्यादा है। और ऐसी स्थिति में कई एनजीओज हैं जो इस तरफ कार्य कर रहे हैं, वो जाके अपना समय बिताते हैं, उनसे मिलते हैं, और उनके जो कई तरह के फैसिलिटेशन के कार्य हैं उसको करते हैं। क्या हम उस एरिया में कुछ अपना हेल्प कर सकते हैं या नहीं, ये हमें सोचना होगा। दूसरी बात ये है कि जो मेडिकल की बात है, मैं समझता हूँ मेडिकल एक्सपेंसेस बहुत ज़्यादा बढ़ जाते हैं। इसमें हॉस्पिटल्स को सेंसिटाइज करना अच्छा है। क्या हम एक स्पेशल उसके लिए कुछ बना सकते हैं रिसेप्शन में, ओल्ड लोगों के लिए जो सर्टिफिकेट दें, हम 65 के ऊपर हैं या 70 के ऊपर है, उसके बारे में क्या प्रक्रिया हो सकती है। उनके जो मेडिकल के जो रिइंबर्समेंट्स हैं उनको थोड़ा आसान करना चाहिए, वो CGHS से भी होना चाहिए जहां तक अगर सरकारी कर्मचारी हैं। तीसरी बात है जो ओल्ड होम्स में है, वहां पे काफी चीजें की जा सकती है। एक इंस्टीट्यूशनल हेल्प दिया जा सकता है, कॉन्ट्रीब्यूशंस दिए जा सकते हैं, उनके एंटरटेनमेंट की व्यवस्था की जा सकती है, और एक 1 पॉइंट विंडो ऑफ असिस्टेंस किया जा सकता है, चाहे रिलेटेड टू बैंक हो, चाहे रिलेटेड टू कोर्ट हो, चाहे रिलेटेड टू पुलिस हो, और वगैरह वगैरह। और अंत में समझता हूं उन गरीब वृद्धों के लिए तो समस्या वाकई बहुत जटिल है। जो कि फाइनेंशियल हेल्प वगैरह चाहते हैं। कुछ इंस्टीट्यूशंस बहुत अच्छे चल रहे हैं, जैसे गुरुग्राम में एक कोई कालरा साहब हैं या कोई हैं जो कि चलाते हैं, वहां पे जो सड़क पे और जगह पे छोड़ दिए गए हैं वृद्ध लोग, उनकी वो वाकई सेवा करते हैं। वो वाकई भगवान की सेवा है, भगवान की पूजा करते हैं। वहां मैंने भी कुछ कंट्रीब्यूशन वगैरह दिया था। ऐसे जगहों में जाके भी काफी कार्य किए सकते हैं। अंत में ये कहूंगा, मैं तो कमीशंस वगैरह में विश्वास नहीं करता हूं, ना कि मैं समझता हूं न कुछ विमेन कमीशन ने किया है या कोई चाइल्ड कमीशन ने किया है। ये एक ऐसी ही पोस्टें बन जाती हैं जिसमें हम भर देते हैं ब्यूरोक्रेट्स और पुलिस वालों को, उससे कुछ निदान निकलता नहीं। लेकिन जो हर जगह ट्रेंड जो है संसार में ये है कि इंडिविजुअल्स अपने आप को कैसे ये संयोजित करके हेल्प कर सकते हैं। और अंत में ये कहूंगा कि एक पोर्टल है, वैसे एक फोन नंबर भी है जिसका कि अच्छा इस्तेमाल हो रहा है, ओल्ड एज हेल्पलाइन है वो। और कुछ मेरे दोस्तों ने कहा है कि उसमें उनके समस्या की हल भी होती है, जैसे पुलिस के लिए उन्होंने हेल्प किया, बैंक के लिए हेल्प किया, कोर्ट के लिए हेल्प किया, वगैरह वगैरह। तो मैं समझता हूँ इसको उस फोकस करके अगर देखें तो समाज को भी फायदा होगा और हम लोग भी थोड़ा संतुष्ट होंगे कि हमने जो किया है उसका वाकई फायदा हो रहा है। थैंक यू।
बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद साहब। और आपने जो पॉइंट बताया कि जो भी इसका सोल्यूशन है वो वहीं पे निकलेगा, शायद बाहर का इंटरवेंशन के बगैर भी हो सकता है, अगर सोसाइटी के अंदर ही उसका सोल्यूशन निकले। सो नाउ आई रिक्वेस्ट श्री पी.के. मल्होत्रा to give his opening remarks.
Thank you, Vakaluji. All the panelists from this panel, they are all distinguished people who have served in the government on various positions and have contributed in their own way to the system. I'm just reminded of the two incidents which are normally quoted on the WhatsApp, and I would like to share it here. Singhania families created such a wonderful infrastructure, big industrialist, and when he gave all his property to his children, what treatment was given to him by his children is well known to everybody. I don't want to go because there is a time constraint. I don't want to go into that, but this example is before us. Second is on WhatsApp. There was a message going on recently, which I also read, I also received it. It said, an old person, 70 years plus, he went to a mobile shop saying कि साहब मेरे मोबाइल पे घंटी नहीं बजती है, देखिए मेरा फोन कुछ खराब है. Person checked the phone and he said कि नहीं साहब आपका फोन बिल्कुल दुरुस्त है, इसमें कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है. And his answer was, फिर मेरे बच्चों का फोन इस पर क्यों नहीं आता है? This we are talking of the people who are well off in the society, who could have taken care of themselves but are not in a position to take care of themselves and are missing their children and looking for some kind of help from the society. But then, as has been pointed out by Yashovardhan ji also, there are weaker sections of the society who are not financially well off. For them also, the provision need to be made. And the biggest problem, which he has highlighted, which he said at number 1, is the loneliness at this age. And Gupta ji also mentioned about the single partner. When he becomes single at this age, it's very difficult for him to live his life. And he feels lonely and he can't look for any assistance from anybody. So I think the constitutional goal, so far as the constitution is concerned, we are a welfare state. And the preamble of the constitution itself talks about justice, social, economic, and political. In addition to the points mentioned by Yashovardhan ji, I fully support them, that individuals have to take care, society itself has to take care. But I think legal infrastructure also need to be created, which really is effective and it really works. As has been discussed earlier, and we know that from the platform of public policy, our representation has already gone to the Prime Minister for creation of a national commission for senior citizens. I don't know how the government is going to react to that, because the existing legislation passed by the parliament itself is not sufficient to provide the kind of the social justice which the constitution itself is set to be providing to the senior citizens. We know that in 2007, the law was passed, but its implementation was left to the state government. And the state government very clearly said, nothing doing, उन्होंने अपना पल्ला झाड़ दिया, we don't have the funds, we cannot implement it. And the only implementation out there was to create an infrastructure where the complaints of the senior citizens could be looked into. And even that has not been done. The amendments were moved in the 2019, and I'm sorry to say that wherever there is a need, bills are passed within a day, but otherwise they remain pending for 3 year, 4 year, 5 year, and ultimately the term of the Lok Sabha comes to an end, the bill lapses, and in the next Lok Sabha, you have to bring a new bill. In 2019, an amendment bill was moved, strengthening the maintenance and welfare of parents and senior citizens. This bill was introduced in 2019. Unfortunately, it has not been passed till date. We are in 2023. Next year again, the Lok Sabha elections will take place. If before that the bill is passed, maybe the bill gets strengthened. But if it is not passed by that, again the bill will lapse. And I think we will be back to the 2007 Act, which has not been implemented so far by the state government. And I'm worried that it may not meet the same fate as is the Gram Nyaya Act, which was passed in again 2007, and the states have not implemented it. And the poor people living in villages are not able to take advantage of that particular bill. Yashovardhan ji also mentioned that he doesn't believe in commissions. I fully support his view. Simply, constitution of the commission will not serve any purpose unless the commission itself is empowered to move an application on behalf of the senior citizens and get their rights enforced. Because otherwise, all these commissions, they simply give the recommendations, which goes to the government. And the government, what happens? What is the fate of these recommendations? We know it very well. Therefore, the commission which the Public Police Trust has recommended to the government must be given a power to conduct an investigation and inquiry in accordance with the laid down procedure. After conducting an inquiry, to pass an order, and if passing an order, if the person is not implementing it, whosoever may be the family member, whether he is dependent or other family member defined under Act, if he is not implementing it, then the commission itself should be empowered to move an application for the court for its enforcement. Last point which I would like to make it, that if these commission and these regulatory bodies created by the government have to become successful, they should be out of the normal legal system of the country, because in the legal system, we see what kind of delays are taking place. Once an application is filed, the disposal itself will take 10 or 15 years. We don't want that situation to arise in case of senior citizens tribunal or any senior citizens commission, because here expediency is as important as the protection of the rights of the senior citizen. With these opening remarks, I stop here. Thank you very much. In case there are questions, I will take those questions, and I have certain other points to make, which I will make later on. Thank you, Bapuji.
Thank you, sir. Actually, you raised a very important point about any commission or any judicial authority having to speed up the matters, because there is a limited time span for which the senior citizens would be there. So there is definitely an urgent need for that. I mean, that is the crux of the matter. I mean, I'd be thankful if you could sort of respond to that, or would you like to sort of? It's fine if you want to speak. Please start. Devdutt sir, please.
We are about
Okay,
actually, we have heard our chairman and learned speakers. Mr. P.K. Malhotra has already told about the legal position. We were expecting that Mr. Modi will take up this bill of senior citizen in this parliament only. But it is very disheartening to know that this bill was not introduced in this special session of the parliament. Nevertheless, we hope that before the parliament elections, they may do some miracle for senior citizens, because the population of senior citizens is 15 crores voters. It is a huge population which may affect the polling pattern of any political party. So one thing I would like to request, that we must show our strength, our unity, so that the government also thinks that government should do something for the benefit of the senior citizens before coming parliament elections. So one suggestion I would like to make, that all senior citizens of the country, they must form a platform so that we can have a good force to pressurize the government, see the condition of the poorest senior citizens in the villages. They are getting only 1,000 rupees as a stipend, as a old age pension. So 1,000 rupees done just nothing. In this atmosphere, the prices of the medicines and other commodities have gone very high. It is very, very difficult for a senior citizen to have a good treatment at the time when he needs. So this is my suggestion only.
Thank you, sir. Actually, I agree with you that senior citizens form a big group now in the country, and they do have some political weight. So we should leverage on that. And I'm sure that if we provide further inputs to the government on how exactly, that particular structure can be framed, maybe it might be, this bill also might come into the parliament before the parliament actually expires. Thank you, sir. Now, I'll request Mr. Gupta, in your opinion, how much do you think creating public awareness would help in mitigating the challenges faced by senior citizens?
Sir, I will definitely. I was waiting for my time.
Yeah.
सर अभी बताया भैया हमारी जो पॉपुलेशन सीनियर सिटीजन की ये बहुत ज्यादा हो चुकी है. अगर 2021 का सर्वे देखें तो 10.1% ऑफ द टोटल पॉपुलेशन वो सीनियर सिटीजन की है. सो इतनी बड़ी पॉपुलेशन और हमारी जो केयर है वो उस तरह नहीं हमें मिल रही, गवर्नमेंट हो या और एजेंसीज हो, जितनी हमें मिलनी चाहिए. मैं किसी को भी इंडिविजुअलाइज नहीं कर रहा. अगर मैं देखूं हम जितने लोग यहाँ बैठे हैं या और भी मेरे इधर उधर बहुत से लोग हैं, दे आर वेल ऑफ. गवर्नमेंट ऑफिशियल रिटायर्ड है, गेटिंग वेरी गुड पेंशन. अगर बिजनेस कम्युनिटी से हैं तो उनको कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है. लेकिन अगर ऑन दी होल वो हम बात करें, जो हमारे विलेजेस में लोग रह रहे हैं, कई हमारे छोटे छोटे जो स्लम्स है उसमें लोग रह रहे हैं, हमारे पड़ोस में रह रहे हैं, जो मेड सर्वेंट्स काम करने के दूसरे काम कर रहे हैं, बहुत लोग ऐसे हैं जो बड़ी मुश्किल अपना गुजारा चला रहे हैं. जब हम लोग कहते हैं अच्छा आप तुम्हारे घर हमारे घर में आज आटा नहीं है, चलो ले जाओ. लेकिन हमारी एक कहावत है, जब तक आप अपनी कमाई में बरकत नहीं है कोई किसी की कोई मदद नहीं कर सकता. कहते तानी टूट जाए तो ठीक है, अगर ताना ही टूट जाए तो कुछ नहीं होता. अब इन लोगों के लिए सोचना वो हमारा काम है. लेकिन एक चीज मैं उससे पहले ये जरूर कहना चाहूंगा, क्योंकि मैं दिल्ली पुलिस के साथ एसोसिएटेड हूँ 9-10 साल से. तो उनकी जो सीनियर सिटीजन एडवाइजरी काउंसिल है, मैं डिस्ट्रिक्ट और स्टेट लेवल दोनों का मेंबर. डिस्ट्रिक्ट लेवल में महीने में 4 साल में 4 मीटिंग होती है, और स्टेट लेवल में जो हमारे स्पेशल कमिश्नर वो मीटिंग लेते हैं वो 2 होती है. वहां हमने जो देखा है मैं 10 साल में, वो मैं बता रहा हूँ. दिल्ली पुलिस आजकल बहुत ही ज्यादा स्मार्टली और बड़े अच्छे दिल से सीनियर सिटीजन की सेवा कर रही है. मैं उसकी एक आपको उदाहरण देना चाहता हूँ. अभी पीछे विवेकानंद इंस्टीट्यूट या आउटर रिंग रोड पे पीतमपुरा, तो यहाँ इनका पुलिस डे मनाया गया था. तो वहां दीपेंद्र पाठक जी IPS, वो स्पेशल कमिश्नर है इस टाइम दिल्ली पुलिस के. तो उन्होंने जो बोला था, मुझे 2 लाइनें उनकी बहुत पसंद आई थी. उसमें पता चलता है हाउ दे आर टेकिंग केयर ऑफ ऑल द सीनियर सिटीजन्स. उन्होंने कहा था हमारी फर्स्ट प्रायोरिटी आज के टाइम में सीनियर सिटीजन की केयर करना है, उनको प्रोटेक्शन देना, सिक्योरिटी, सेफ्टी. उसके बाद एक और बात उन्होंने कही जो बहुत ही इमोशनल थी मेरे लिए. उन्होंने कहा जब उनके बच्चे छोड़ के चले जाते हैं तो दिल्ली पुलिस उस टाइम भी उनके साथ खड़ी होके उनकी हेल्प करती है, हर तरह की फैसिलिटी उनको प्रोवाइड करती है. उन्होंने आगे ये कहा था कि जितने भी हमारे सीनियर सिटीजन हैं, दे शुड बी वेरी वेरी पर्टिकुलर. क्योंकि हो क्या रहा है आजकल, बहुत सीनियर सिटीजन है वो चीट भी किया जा रहा है, उनकी प्रॉपर्टी छीनी जा रही है, उनके पैसे छीने जा रहे हैं, इवन उनको मार भी दिया जा रहा है. वो क्या हो रहा है, जो भी अननोन बंदे आते हैं जिनका टारगेट यही होता है, दिस इज द सॉफ्ट का टारगेट, वो उनसे दोस्ती बनाते हैं, पहले उनका ख्याल करते हैं, उनको हॉस्पिटल लेके जाते हैं, दवाइयां लेके आते हैं, उनका राशन लेके आते हैं। धीरे धीरे जब कुछ हो जाता है फिर उनको लूट दिया, अगर कोई अपोज करता तो उनको मार भी देते हैं। तो इसका मतलब वो बेसिकली अननोन बंदों पे ट्रस्ट नहीं कर सकते, नोन बंदों पे ट्रस्ट कर सकते हैं। नोन कौन से? पड़ोस के लोग, जो हमारा फ्रेंड सर्कल। मेरी संस्था के 350 मेंबर है, हम एक दूसरे को जानते हैं। लेकिन ये मुझे पता है, जो ऊपर से खुश नजर आ रहे हैं, अंदर से इतने खुश वो नहीं होते। चाहे वो अपने बच्चों के साथ भी रह रहे हैं, जो चीज उनको मिलनी चाहिए, डिजर्व करते हैं, वो नहीं मिल रही। एक मजबूरी होती है, भाई यार कहाँ छोड़ के जाएंगे, समाज क्या कहेगा, मेरे पड़ोसी क्या कहेंगे, तो वो बंधे हुए हैं। वो पैसे से मार नहीं खा रहे, लेकिन उनको केयर उनकी की जा रही, उनकी सुनवाई नहीं हो रही। आज सीनियर सिटीजन के लिए हमारे बच्चों के पास कोई भी टाइम नहीं है। और मैं एक चीज और ऐड कर दूं, जैसे मैं भी उसी फैमिली को बिलोंग करते, या मेरे बच्चे भी। हम 26 साल से, मैं और मेरी वाइफ अकेले रह रहे हैं। वी बोथ आर रिटायर्ड गवर्नमेंट ऑफिशियल्स। ठीक है, पैसे की कोई कमी नहीं है, वी आर वेल ऑफ, बड़ी अच्छी लाइफ रही। लेकिन अगर हम कल को बच्चों की जरूरत पड़े तो हमें वो सपोर्ट नहीं है। जब तक बच्चे आएंगे हम कहीं के कहीं जा चुके होंगे। हमारे बहुत बच्चे हैं, मेरे पीछे मेरे जो समधी है, वो डायरेक्टर थे इंडियन ऑयल में, मिस्टर BK मित्तल। उनके बच्चे अमेरिका और सिंगापुर थे। मेरी बहू तो आ गई, बाकी उनकी वाइफ भी अमेरिका में बैठी थी, 48 घंटे बाद पहुंचे। डेड बॉडी उनकी जाके कहीं मॉर्चरी में पड़ी हुई है। तो ये जो स्टेज है, वो इंतजार करते करते बेचारे चले जाते हैं। जैसे अभी किसी ने कहा मेरा फोन खराब हो गया, देखना यार इसमें क्या खराबी है। कहते ये तो फोन ठीक है, कहते पर मेरे बच्चों का फोन नहीं आ रहा। कितनी बड़ी वो दर्दनाक बात थी, कितना दर्द छुपा हुआ था उनमें। यही आज रियलिटी हो रही है। तो सर, एक तो हमारी पुलिस वाले ये कहते हैं सीनियर सिटीजन को, आप प्लीज किसी भी अनजान बंदे को अंदर ना आने दो। जो आप एक आई होती है दरवाजे, वो लगा के रखो। और उसके बाद आजकल क्या हो रहा है, हमारे जो पुलिस स्टेशन वाले हैं ये भी कह रहे हैं कि आप अपना घर जो है वो लिंक करो पुलिस स्टेशन के साथ। अगर आपको कोई इमरजेंसी आती है तो आप इमीडिएटली ये बटन दबाओ, हमारे यहाँ थाने में पहुंचेगी आपकी बेल, हमारा बंदा उसी समय रश करके आपके पास। अगर आपको कोई मेडिकल जरूरत है तभी मिल जाएगी। अगर कोई चोर चक्का आ गया जो आपकी कोई प्रॉब्लम, तो वो भी आपकी हल हो जाएगी। मैंने एक केस देखा था, जो मैंने बहुत रो रहे थे। एक बुजुर्ग बेचारे, मियाँ बीवी, उनके बहू और बेटा उनको घर से बाहर निकाल रहे थे। मुझे पता लगा, मैंने उनको फोन, ये चावड़ी बाजार का केस है, तो मैंने उनको फोन किया भी देखो आप कमिश्नर को फोन करो दिल्ली पे, अगर चाहो तो मैं आपके साथ चल सकता हूँ। वो क्या हो रहा है, पुलिस का कोई भी सीनियर ऑफिसर या तो उनके बेटे बहू को, जो बेटी को बुला लेते हैं कि आप आज के बाद ऐसी हमें कंप्लेंट नहीं आनी चाहिए। और एक बात हम आपको बता दें, जिस मकान में आप रह रहे हो वो आपके माँ बाप का मकान है, आपका नहीं है। अगर आप कंप्लेंट आ गई तो आपको उठा के हम बाहर फेंक देंगे। कोर्ट में आप जाते रहना जहां भी जाता है, लेकिन उनको किसी भी किस्म की तकलीफ नहीं होनी चाहिए। आप कई लोग ऐसे हैं जिनको पेंशन नहीं मिल रही, अभी बात हो रही थी। आप 2000 या 2500 MCD या दिल्ली एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन वाले देते हैं, लेकिन वो भी 6 महीने देकर उसका बंद हो जाते हैं, पेंशन नहीं मिलती। नहीं जी अभी पैसा नहीं है, बजट आएगा, अगला बजट आएगा। तो सर उनकी जो पोजीशन इतनी ज्यादा खराब हो जाती है, उनके रोटी के लाले पड़ जाते हैं। वो अपने बच्चों के आगे हाथ फैलाते हैं पैसे के लिए, वहां से उनकी इच्छा पूरी नहीं होती। तो आज अगर हम सारे को सम अप करें, तो सीनियर सिटीजन की प्रॉब्लम एक बहुत ही एक्यूट और बड़ी सोशली बहुत ही सीरियस प्रॉब्लम हो चुकी है। कीपर साइड जैसे मैंने कहा, कुछ लोग लकी हैं जो फॉर्चुनेट हमारे जैसे, लेकिन ज्यादातर लोग परेशान है। और जो अपने सीनियर सिटीजन होम है, कई तो ये कहते हैं हाँ जी इतना पैसा दे दो और यहाँ आके रह लो, या आप अपनी प्रॉपर्टी हमारे नाम पे कर दो, जितनी देर आप जिंदा हो हम आपकी पूरा ख्याल करेंगे, आपको बेस्ट लाइफ देंगे, उसके बाद प्रॉपर्टी हमारी हो जाएगी। तो ऐसी कई ऐसी चीजें आ रही जो समाज में, जिसमें हो रहा है कि शायद इनसे सीनियर सिटीजन का भला हो जाए। लेकिन अभी भी हम बहुत पीछे हैं और हमें आगे जाना है। कमीशन मैं मानता हूं, अगर किसी के कमीशन के पास जुडिशियल पावर्स नहीं है, उनके डिसीजन बाइंडिंग नहीं है, तो टाइम वेस्टेज है, मैं भी मानता हूं। लेकिन फिर भी अगर हम अपील करें, सारे मिलके मेमोरेंडम दे PM को या होम मिनिस्टर को या प्रेसिडेंट ऑफ इंडिया को, तो मैं फील करता हूं कि हमारी आवाज सुनी जाएगी। अब इलेक्शन आ रहे हैं, अभी बात हो रही थी, इलेक्शन में हो सकता है कि हमारी कुछ समस्याएं गवर्नमेंट हल करने की कोशिश करे, क्योंकि हर जो गवर्नमेंट होती है इतने सारे के सारे स्वार्थी होते हैं। तो यार उसके टाइम देंगे कुछ इनको टेम्पटेशन, तो हमें वोटें मिल जाएंगी। लेकिन आज एक चीज मैं जरूर एंड पे कहूंगा, आज वी आर लकी एनफ आवर कंट्री इज रूल्ड बाय मोदी जी। मैं मोदी भगत हूँ, मैं मानता हूँ बहुत ज्यादा कि भगवान करे ये 20 साल और राज करे तो हमारे सारे जो जितनी भी हमारी कौम है, जितनी भी हमारी संस्थाएं हैं, जितने हमारे धर्म है या दूसरे जातियां, उनका सबका भला हो। तो ही इज ऑल इन वन। तो हम उसकी लंबी उम्र की प्रार्थना करेंगे। थैंक यू।
बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद गुप्ता साहब। और एक पॉजिटिव चीज जो आपने बताया कि पुलिस काफी प्रोएक्टिव है दिल्ली में, और हम चाहेंगे कि पूरे देश में पुलिस इसी तरह से प्रोएक्टिव रहे ताकि लोगों की समस्याएं, सीनियर सिटीजन्स की, इससे हल हो सके।
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल।
नाउ आई कम टू Yashovardhan ji. What do you think are the mechanisms for monitoring and evaluating the impact on senior citizens if there is an intervention that, based on experience in other countries, if you have any such sort of experience?
See, first of all, let me again stress the point. So many issues are there with the senior citizens. By merely recounting them, we are not helping this seminar. The other thing, most of the issues which have been recounted, I don't think commission is a solution for that. In fact, commission will do nothing. You will get more frustrated because like the atrocities which are being committed against the women's commission is going around here and there. Manipur, when everything happened, the commission president landed up there. No, I don't think in any regime these commissions work very well, whether it is Modi ji's regime or whether it is Gandhi's regime. It doesn't work. That's why it's a fact. Unless you give some powers to the commission, which will not be given. It cannot be given because of basic requirements of the ministry and the functioning. It's not possible. Now, abroad, the why things are better is because the public delivery system is better. For example, if you call 911 and immediately the ambulance comes, there's no problem whether it's a senior citizen or whether it's anybody else. Now, the ambulance system has been geared up in many places, like in Jharkhand, UP, other places. There were attempts made that anybody, even from a village, if he dials, immediately the ambulance rushes. Now, these are the things we should try for. Now, if the public delivery system on its own doesn't get better, which it cannot get better because if you have 140 crore people and we lie to the people and tell them that population is a dividend, it's a joke. Population is the biggest curse which is holding us back. So then what should we do? If the public delivery system is not good, then we facilitate. And that's why I said if it's loneliness, there are these NGOs, help them out. If there are old people who are lying on the streets, somebody is helping him in Gurgaon, help him out, contribute. If there is a requirement and help in the hospitals required, we should sensitize the hospital or the team of doctors or the health ministry. That is the way to go about it. But if we talk in theory and philosophy that, this is happening and there's a huge problem. Yes, there is a huge problem. That is true. But what do we do about it? For example, again, there is something which has been attempted by the government, which is a very good move. We should bolster it. We should help it out. That is the call center where the senior citizens are asked to ring up. So once you ring that up, see that it works. See that it helps. In fact, in my Twitter campaign, there are a lot of people who approach me because when I was the Central Information Commissioner, I was dealing with some of these cases. These cases were coming up for trial before me. And even when I was Secretary of Security, many of these cases were brought before me. So the idea is that if you bolster institutions, if you react to the agencies, if you do facilitation, that is the way out. But if you dream of a solution from above, I don't think anybody. That is my frank opinion. And because we are talking amongst friends, that's why I'm saying it.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. And the last point you mentioned about not expecting too much from the National Commission for Senior Citizens, My next question to Malhotra Saab is based on the same. Well, sir, as I mentioned in the beginning, that we at Public Police NGO have been advocating establishment of this National Commission, and we have worked towards that direction. What, in your opinion, should be the structure of the same to make it an effective tool for protection of the rights of the senior citizens? The structure, I mean, so as to make it effective.
I entirely agree with the view that the settlement, as I said earlier also, establishing a commission itself is not sufficient unless it is adequately empowered for the enforcement also. And if you are talking about the structure, people should be such who really understand the problem of the senior citizens. And as I said, home care is the best area where most attention is needed. Maybe I think Gupta ji also made certain general observations, and I entirely agree with what Gupta ji said and the problems being faced by the senior citizen. अगर हम बात कर रहे हैं तो इनकी 15 करोड़ की पॉपुलेशन है और उसमें से मे बी 1 करोड़ 1.5 करोड़ लोग ऐसे हैं जो फाइनेंशियली वेल ऑफ हैं क्योंकि उनको पेंशन मिलती है, अच्छी जगह रह रहे हैं, अच्छे एस्टैब्लिश्ड हैं. रेस्ट ऑफ देम, large number, is the area which need to be taken care of, for which, as Mr. Yashovardhan also said, public delivery system need to be strengthened. Unless you strengthen it, probably nothing will happen. And because of the limitation on resources, probably maybe we cannot do it in a day or two for 145 crore people. So what is the alternative? The alternative is to that we as citizens of the country must also facilitate. And how that facilitation can be done? In the public police, we have been discussing this issue for the last 6 months, where we have said that can we create a cadre of youngsters where those who will be in touch with the police station, and whenever a call comes to the police station that such as a senior citizen is needing help, probably that youngster goes to that senior citizen and extend him help, either for doing his banking activity or for his health care or for bringing ration for him. Because as on today, if I go as an individual or as a representative of public police, the kind of trust which is needed for the senior citizen will not be there. But if he is going through the police agency, at least the senior citizen will be comfortable that he has been referred to me by the police agencies, so I can depend on him. So I think if we are depending only on the government resources, probably the objective cannot be achieved. Government can provide a platform, government can provide a statutory framework, government can provide institutional framework, but its implementation depend on the citizens, and unless the NGOs and common citizens don't extend that kind of support to the public system, probably its success will not be seen in near future. If you really want to succeed, that need to be done. And you talked about the what should be the constitution of the commission. As I said, it has to be a combination of social worker, people who are expert in law, as well as those who are connected with the police authorities. Gupta ji talked about the police authorities doing a good job. I entirely agree. Yashovardhan is also there. I mean, he has been a very senior IPS officer who have worked at different level, at different positions, and he knows it very well. But the kind of confidence which should be generated in the police for the common man today, maybe 10 or 15% people have that kind of confidence, but 85% of the people are still scared of or afraid of visiting the police station. Even a man like me would like to avoid going to the police station if it is possible, but it is only when absolutely essential, in spite of all the efforts made by the government to create that kind of comfort. We are trying to create that kind of comfort, but still the kind of confidence which need to be generated in the common man has not been generated. And probably we in the public police can contribute in that area and say that once these particular organizations are working for the welfare of the senior citizens, specialized centers have been created. You should have faith in them. And I think for that, public police can do some kind of advocacy and advisory also. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. I find Yashovardhan ji has, he wants to rebut. Yes, sir.
No, I just want to add, in fact, I mean, one of the good points mentioned by Mr. Malhotra is, and we can work on that, is that whenever a police station has to respond to various calls, The police station if it has in its list a group of youngsters or a group of people and with their numbers, then immediately whenever such distress call comes, then they can ring up one of these who can respond immediately by going there, because it's easier to talk to a person, who's in non-uniform. And then, of course, the facilitation is much better. This is one very, very important thing which we can work now. This is something which is a very concrete suggestion. And I appreciate the fact that even today, people are not very comfortable going to the police station or even a court or even a tahsil or even anything to do with government, because they know they'll go there and they'll get stuck. I know of a complaint just now. My own PA was telling me that district registrar in Faridabad, he has paid everything, annual returns of society, but he keeps calling him so that he can call him, trouble him. I just tweeted also to Haryana Chief Secretary that, it goes on and he'll be there hanging around for 4 hours unless you do something that you cannot. So it's a problem. Our public delivery system is in a serious muddle. So next thing is facilitation or an organized an institution which really works towards it.
Thank you, sir. From the discussions, from the points raised by Malhotra Sahab and Azad Sahab, I think one thing is clear that public police NGO can also work on this alternative strategy of, providing this youth manpower to people, structure it properly so that people have something to fall back upon. The senior citizens in particular. Thank you, sir. Now, Rakesh ji, आपके लिए प्रश्न है। भारत में लोग अपने वरिष्ठ नागरिकों को पूरा सम्मान दिया करते थे, उनको भगवान की तरह पूजा जाता था। आपके विचार से लोगों की विचारधारा में क्या परिवर्तन आया है कि आज हमें इस विषय पे ये गंभीर चर्चा करनी पड़ रही है?
देखिए, सीनियर सिटीजन्स के ऊपर इतना वरिष्ठ लोगों ने बोला है और रियल प्रॉब्लम है। पहले लोगों में एक सामाजिक डर था। बच्चे अपने माँ बाप को और बड़े बुजुर्गों को बहुत सम्मान देते थे, उनकी बातें मानते थे। सिस्टम में चेंज आया, लोग बाहर चले गए, सर्विसेज में चले गए। पहले लोग अपने माँ बाप के संग ही बिजनेस में इन्वॉल्व होते थे, तो बट नेचुरल है उनका कंट्रोल भी होता था, फाइनेंस पे कंट्रोल होता था और अदरवाइज कंट्रोल उनका रहता था। जब घर पे कंट्रोल रहता था, बट नेचुरल है वो लोग सम्मान भी करते। अब सिस्टम बदल गया, लोग बाहर चले गए, लोगों ने छोड़ना शुरू कर दिया, एक बेटर एम्प्लॉयमेंट मिलना शुरू हो गया। उन बुजुर्गों के कंपैरिजन में उन बच्चों को जो अब IIT, IIM या डिफरेंट स्टडीज से करके आ रहे हैं, और वो दे आर गेटिंग वेरी बिग पैकेजेस, तो उन्हें लगता है हमारे माँ बाप ने तो यार कुछ किया ही, उन्होंने तो बहुत छोटी सी तनख्वाह मिलती थी, बहुत छोटा उन्होंने जोड़ा, कुछ किया नहीं, कर नहीं पाए, उनके पैकेजेस अलग हैं। मगर आप ये देखिए, सिचुएशन चेंज हो रही है। अब यंगस्टर्स शादी नहीं कर रहे, शादी कर रहे हैं तो वी डोंट वांट द चिल्ड्रंस। आप ये देखिए, एक बहुत बड़ी जनसंख्या जो इसमें इन्वॉल्व है, नहीं शादी कर रही, नहीं बच्चे कर रहे। आप ये देखिए 30 से 40 साल बाद, 40 साल बाद ये स्थिति इतनी भयानक हो जाएगी, क्योंकि आज तो हम लोगों के पास भी चलो कहने को बच्चे तो हैं, कम से कम कुछ नहीं 1%, 2%, 10%, उन्हें थोड़ा बहुत डर भी है, आपसदारी है, या आप कह देती हो कि भाई कुछ करो, हमने तुम्हारे लिए किया है। वो किससे कहेंगे कि हमने किसी के लिए कुछ किया है? उनके तो बच्चे ही नहीं है। ये सिचुएशन और ड्रास्टिक और ब्लास्ट हो जाएगी बिल्कुल 30 साल बाद, 40 साल बाद, अगर हम लोग विजुअलाइज करें। तो आज से ही हम लोगों का ये काम है कि हम लोग उस स्थिति को सोचें कि सीनियर सिटीजन्स के लिए एक बहुत बड़ा सब्जेक्ट है नेशन वाइड। अभी देवदत्त जी ने भी कहा कि हम लोगों को एक नेशनल फोरम बनाना चाहिए सीनियर सिटीजन्स के लिए, जहां हम एक बड़ी आवाज उठा सकें, ताकि सरकार भी सुने कि भाई ये सीनियर सिटीजन जो आज 15 करोड़ हैं, 30 साल बाद ये 40 करोड़ हो जाएंगे। तब सरकार अगर सोचेगी तो फिर वही ब्लास्ट हो जाएगा कि साहब अब पॉपुलेशन बहुत हो गई, अब कुछ नहीं कर सकते। जैसे आज कह देते हैं भाई 140 और 145 करोड़ हो गई है। तो आज ही से सोचना शुरू करना पड़ेगा। मैं देवदत्त जी की बात का बिल्कुल सपोर्ट करता हूं कि एक नेशनल फोरम बनना चाहिए। गुप्ता जी, मल्होत्रा साहब, आजाद साहब ने कहा कि एक्चुअल प्रैक्टिकल ही हम लोगों को देखना पड़ेगा।
जी
हम लोगों ने कमीशन के लिए लेटर लिखा है जिसमें लिखा है कि ये प्यूनिटिव पावर्स के साथ होनी चाहिए विद द टीचिंग पावर्स, कि अगर किसी बुजुर्ग के साथ, किसी सीनियर सिटीजन के साथ कहीं भी कोई गलत हो रहा है तो जुडिशियल पावर्स इस कमीशन के पास हों ताकि वो इमीडिएट एक्शन ले सके। देखिए, एक अभी बहुत अच्छी बात कही, अब भरतपुर में एक अपना घर है जो हम लोगों के साथ भी हैं, दिव्य जी बहुत अच्छी तरह उससे अटैच हैं। वो लोग गरीब गरीब लोगों को, जिनका दुनिया में कोई नहीं होता, उनको अपने आश्रम में ले जाते हैं और 40 आश्रम उन्होंने खोले हुए हैं। और वो उसका उनकी बिल्कुल भगवान की तरह से वे टेक केयर करते हैं और प्रभु जी कहते हैं। इट इज फंटास्टिक और हम लोगों को जाके वाकई देखना चाहिए। मल्होत्रा साहब ने कही कमीशन, और ये आजाद साहब का या गुप्ता जी का कि भाई कमीशन का काम अब होना चाहिए। क्योंकि देखिए, बिना सरकारी सिस्टम के आप काम नहीं कर सकते। जब तक सपोर्टिव नहीं होगा सरकारी सिस्टम, तब तक लोग बिखरे हुए रहते हैं। कहीं ना कहीं लोगों का ये रहता है कि एक सरकारी सिस्टम भी आपको सपोर्ट कर रहा है। काम तो लोगों को ही करना है, ऐसा नहीं है। पहले भी होता था, पहले भी बुजुर्गों को सम्मान दिए जाते थे और बच्चे भी देते थे। ये एक जनरेशन का है। आज बच्चे जो नहीं समझ पा रहे हैं, जो नहीं दे रहे हैं, वो 20 साल बाद देख लेंगे। उनकी स्थिति हम लोगों से कहीं ज्यादा खराब होगी, क्योंकि कोई होगा ही नहीं उनके साथ तो खड़ा। तो हम लोगों ने एक सबसे बड़ी प्रॉब्लम जो गुप्ता जी ने बताई कि लोनलीनेस की बहुत बड़ी प्रॉब्लम। इवन जो लोग फाइनेंशियली वेल ऑफ हैं, उनके सामने भी एक बड़ी भारी प्रॉब्लम है कि समय कैसे कटें। उनके बच्चे बिजी हैं, उनके ग्रैंड चिल्ड्रंस एजुकेशन में बिजी हैं, कैरियर में बिजी हैं, बच्चे बिजनेस में, सर्विस में, सब जगह बिजी हैं, अकेले रह जाते हैं। बहुत बड़ी दिक्कत। हम लोगों ने इसके ऊपर पब्लिक पुलिस के में बहुत डिस्कशन किया और एक प्रोजेक्ट कार्पेडियम करके हम लोगों ने सोचा था, जिसमें यंगस्टर्स को ज्वाइन करवाया जाए उन लोगों के साथ, और वो लोग जाएं, घंटे 2 घंटे 3 घंटे उनके साथ रहें, उनके एंटरटेनमेंट करें। उनको जरूरत हो, जो उन्होंने आजाद साहब ने, मल्होत्रा साहब ने कही कि भाई पुलिस सिस्टम के थ्रू में जाया जा सकता है कि वो वेरीफाइड हों वो वॉलंटियर्स। देखिए, टाइम बैंक है, स्विट्जरलैंड की बेसिक कंसेप्ट था जिसमें लोग जाते थे और जो जितना टाइम वो लोग उन बुजुर्गों के संग स्पेंड करते थे वो उनको क्रेडिट मिलता था, और जब भी उन्हें जरूरत होती थी तो वो लोग, उन्हें भी मिलता था उतना ही क्रेडिट। ऐसा ही जयपुर में एक मिस्टर पीसी जैन है, उन्होंने टाइम बैंक शुरू किया बुजुर्गों। तो हम लोग उनसे भी बात कर रहे हैं कि कैसे वो लोग उस सिस्टम को चलाएं। मगर हमारा कहना है कि अगर हम यंगस्टर्स को अगर इस काम के लिए तैयार ऑन द पेमेंट बेसिस ही, कि भाई थोड़ा बहुत आपको इंसेंटिव मिलेगा कि आप जाओ। देखिए, फ्री में ना तो कोई जाएगा और ना कोई बोले, ना उनका कोई कंसिडरेशन नहीं होगा, तो वो नहीं जाएंगे। आज चले जाएंगे, कल चले जाएंगे, परसों नहीं जाएंगे, कुछ ना कुछ बहाना बना। तो बेटर है कि कोई गवर्नमेंट से इस तरह का इंसेंटिव्स उन लोगों को दिलवाए ताकि वो जाएं, उनके पास 2 4 5 घंटे करें। वो अगर कहीं जाना चाहें, मॉल जाना चाहें, बाहर जाना चाहें, कोई पुलिस की प्रॉब्लम है, कोई बैंकिंग की प्रॉब्लम है, इस तरह की प्रॉब्लम में वो लोग सहयोग करें और उनकी एक पर्टिकुलर ट्रेनिंग हो उन बच्चों की। तो देखिए, यंगस्टर्स को कुछ न कुछ एम्प्लॉयमेंट मिलेगा
जी
और हमारे बुजुर्गों को राहत।
जी राकेश जी, बहुत धन्यवाद। जो आपने बात कही कि यंगस्टर्स को इंसेंटिवाइज किया जाना चाहिए। वर्मा जी कुछ प्रश्न पूछना चाह रहे हैं।
हाँ जी, थैंक यू वेरी मच सर। मेरा मानना ये है कि देखिए, सोसाइटी में एक कर्व होता है जिसको हम लाइफ साइकिल कर्व कहते हैं, और बच्चा होता है, बड़ा होता है, फिर बुजुर्ग होता है, और फिर वो एक्सपायर भी हो जाता है। हर एक लेवल पे नीड ह्यूमन बीइंग की अलग अलग है। सोसाइटी भी चेंज होती है। आपने देखा है कि सोसाइटी चेंज हो रही है, और हम उसको एक्सपीरियंस भी कर रहे हैं। और जैसे बहुत सारे कंट्रियों में ये काम हुआ है, मैं अभी यूके में था, वहाँ का जो एक हेल्थ सिस्टम है वो ओल्ड पीपल के लिए डिफरेंट केयर। हर आप जाएंगे जितने भी हॉस्पिटल्स हैं, यू विल फाइंड ए जीरियाट्रिक्स वार्ड in all, particularly all government hospitals, where elders get care. Similarly, उन लोगों ने क्या किया है कि ये जो होम्स हैं वो असिस्टेड हैं, वो कोई प्राइवेट नहीं रन करता जैसे हमारे कंट्री में करते हैं। दे आर ऑल गवर्नमेंट असिस्टेड होम्स। और हमने भी अपने लेटर में पीएम साहब को लिखा है, each district should have one assisted home for elders where care can be given and वहाँ म्यूनिसिपलिटी, मैं बेल्जियम में था, वहाँ म्यूनिसिपलिटी सिस्टम ऐसा है कि होम केयर के लिए उन्होंने एम्प्लॉय किए हैं पीपल हु आर ट्रेन्ड, आइदर नर्स और who can take care of elderly need, and they send them wherever the need comes. We are too big country, we can't do for everything, but the suggestion which has been given that we need to improve our delivery systems, and the delivery system could be maybe differentiated for everyone versus the elders. This is what perhaps I thought I would like to add on to it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. For your interjection. Now, since we are short of time, we have already exceeded the time. We'll go for the closing remarks. And I find Gupta Saab raising his hand. We'll start with him.
मैं यही सम अप करूंगा, जितने भी हमारे सीनियर सिटीजन जो भी हमारे आते हैं हमारे ग्रुप में, या जितने बाकी भी लोग हैं, ये एक तो इनको अपना लिंक RWA से जरूर बना के रखना चाहिए। जो हमारी रेजिडेंट्स वेलफेयर एसोसिएशन है, उसका भी 12-13 साल से मैं जनरल सेक्रेटरी हूँ, और हमारे साथ सभी को जोड़ा हुआ हमने। जो भी आपकी रिलीजन, चाहे गुरुद्वारा या मंदिर है, उनके साथ अपना लिंक बना के रखें। एक तो उनका अच्छा टाइम पास होता है और उनका मन भी लगता है। इससे ऊपर भी एक और बात है, वो आजकल वो मैं देख भी रहा हूँ पार्कों में जाके, तो वो अपनी सेहत के लिए वॉकिंग भी करते हैं, मॉर्निंग या इवनिंग वॉक, और योगा या एक्सरसाइज वगैरह भी करते हैं। सो ये चीजें बहुत जरूरी है। एक पहले बात क्या आती थी, जब हम यंग थे तो कोई इंसान 50 के नजदीक भी पहुंचता तो हम क्या देते थे, यार तेरे तो दिन चले गए, तू तो बूढ़ा हो गया। अब आज मैं 80+ हूं, मैं कहता हूँ यार तू मुझे सीनियर सिटीजन कह ले, सुपर सीनियर सिटीजन कह ले, पर वो लफ्ज ना यूज करियो, मेरे कलेजे में बहुत चोट पहुंचती है। मैं आप जस्ट जोकिंग। सो मेरा मतलब, आज सारे के सारे लोग अपने आप को बुजुर्ग कहलाने को तैयार नहीं है, उनमें मैं भी एक हूँ। सो हमारा क्या है, आप प्लीज अपनी हेल्थ की कुछ ख्याल रखें, अपनी संस्थाओं के साथ जुड़े रहें। एक जो लफ्ज था अंग्रेजी में हम बोलते थे, इज ए स्पेंट फोर्स, हम स्पेंट फोर्स नहीं है। आज भी हम अपनी इनिंग्स बहुत बढ़िया प्ले कर रहे हैं। आप किसी भी, जितने भी मेरे साथ जो पैनलिस्ट बैठे हैं, बड़े लिटरेरी आदमी है, मैं तो इतना नहीं हूँ, मैं लेकिन ये कहूंगा कि आप यह इधर उधर कहीं भी देख लीजिए, जितनी भी संस्थाएं चला रहे हैं, आज सीनियर सिटीजन चला रहे हैं। जैसे मैं RW की बात कर रहा हूँ, सीनियर सिटीजन संस्था है, मंदिरों के अंदर है, गुरुद्वारों के अंदर है, सारी की सारी मैनेजमेंट कमेटी में 80% जो वो सीनियर सिटीजन है। तो वी आर नॉट स्पेंट फोर्स, वी आर वेरी एक्टिव। अपनी जिंदगी में हमने चौके और छक्के काफी लगाए थे, आज भी हम वैसे ही अपना रोल अदा कर रहे हैं। एंड वी आर नॉट स्पेंट फोर्स, वी आर वेरी वेरी एक्टिव। ये मेरा मैसेज।
Thank you very much. So now Yashovardhan Saab.
Well, let me say in conclusion that I think the way to approach the old age care is through facilitation. All over the world, it is the private care which comes to the assistance of people. Government cannot do it. It's not possible. I have been in at least 7 districts, served there in districts, and I have seen the wretched condition of the district home. No state government has money. State government doesn't spend on government departments. How can it spend on these homes? So it's impossible. It has to be a private effort. And to make private effort interesting, you have to sell this concept to the private people. That is the way. For example, in the private wards, you have to suggest a geriatric ward, which is a very good idea, जो वर्मा जी ने कहा, बहुत अच्छा आइडिया है. इसके तरह हम इनको ज्यादा हेल्प कर सकते हैं. कम से कम अगर 10 धनी जेरियाटिक वहां पे जाएं, तो वो एक गरीब के लिए भी ये कर सकते हैं, जो वो कोटा सिस्टम. इन सब चीजों पे हमें आज समय आ गया है. न तो सरकार नौकरी दे सकती है, न तो सरकार पैसा दे सकती है, न तो सरकार पब्लिक डिलीवरी कर सकती है. वो वोट के लिए सब कुछ करेगी. वो सही है, करना चाहिए, कुछ लोगों को तो फायदा होता है. लेकिन अगर हम सीरियसली किसी चीज को कर रहे हैं, आपको अपने व्यक्तिगत इससे करना पड़ेगा. चाहे वो, मैं मानता हूं जो मल्होत्रा साहब कहते हैं, अगर कमीशन को सारे पावर्स दे दिए गए, लेकिन कमीशन को सारे पावर्स नहीं दिए जाएंगे, क्योंकि वो डायरेक्ट क्लैश होगा अथॉरिटीज के साथ, मुश्किल होगा उसको फिक्स करना. मैं, आप मल्होत्रा साहब और हम भी 50 कमेटी में रह चुके हैं, और इस पे जद्दोजहद जिस तरह की होती है वो हम देख चुके हैं. इसलिए मैं कहता हूं कि पब्लिक, ये जो एनजीओ का मल्होत्रा साहब का जो आइडिया था, ब्रिलियंट आइडिया है. पुलिस स्टेशन में या हर जगह हम कन्विंस करें, हॉस्पिटल्स हैं, जो जितने ऐसे सिस्टम्स हैं, कि क्रिएट अ बैंड ऑफ वॉलंटियर्स who will be ready, and there are people who are willing. NGO हैं. और एक जो अच्छी बात महेश्वरी जी ने कही कि जैसे स्विट्जरलैंड में उनको, you get these credits which can be used. This is the way to go about it. It requires some thinking, but it's a damn good idea. And also strengthen ये जो हमारे जो पब्लिक हेल्पलाइन सिस्टम्स हैं, काफी कुछ कर ही रहे हैं. ये जो ऑलरेडी गवर्नमेंट कर रही है, उससे हमें जरा बोस्टर करना चाहिए. और वो जो ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस हैं गुरुग्राम में और जगह है जिन्होंने बात की, उनको हम लोग को बराबर सपोर्ट करना चाहिए, थ्रू सोशल मीडिया, थ्रू फाइनेंस, थ्रू सो मेनी थिंग्स.
थैंक यू सर. मल्होत्रा साहब.
I have a very small comment to make, that government need to create a proper infrastructure, and after that infrastructure is created by the government, it is for people like us, NGOs, and even the citizens, that they support and supplement the efforts of the government, so that life of the senior citizens can be made more comfortable. And when I'm talking of the senior citizens, yes, I know there are senior citizens, as Gupta ji said, who can take care of themselves because they have good health, they have money at their beck and call, so that they can take. But loneliness, which we are talking of, even a person with money and good health cannot be taken care of by any other thing, but by providing good company to these senior citizens. And if we have to do that, NGOs like us have to support that, and advocacy and awareness among the senior citizens, and giving support to the authorities, including the police authorities, by institutions like us, becomes very important to make the life of senior citizens comfortable.
Thank you, sir. Word from Devdutt ji.
Tell that we must frame the points what NGO can do. What we can do, it is better to lit a candle than to curse the darkness. We are expecting to be able to do because of finance and other problems. So it is better, whatever we can do as an NGO, we must make a charter of points so that we can start, and what is expected from the state government or the central government, we must approach to the appropriate authorities so that we at least, and if possible, over that this open way.
Thank you, Devdutt ji. It's been an interesting interaction. Of course, what we can conclude is that there are a lot of challenges faced by senior citizens in India. And of course, there are unique challenges as well, like that of loneliness, which was not the case in the past. Various stakeholders can contribute towards mitigating these challenges, including young people, as was suggested by Maheshwari Saab also, those credit points like you have in Switzerland, and spreading awareness among youth about our own Bharatiya Parampara in respect of elders. That also would help. And of course, as has been pointed out by Mr. Gupta, senior citizens should be in touch with the RWA and other religious bodies that would help take care of a lot of challenges. And of course, private care is important, as has been pointed out by Yeshwardhan ji, and government has a limited role in that. But we as NGOs can play a big role in all these. Of course, that doesn't mean that government should not have its intervention like the National Commission for Senior Citizens. It could be a game changer if we have collaboration among the NGOs and also the National Commission which we have proposed. NGOs like Public Police can play a big role in the implementation part. So that is what we can conclude. So on behalf of Public Police NGO, we shall send our recommendations to Government of India. So I would like to thank Justice Balakrishnan for his august presence, who despite his extremely busy schedule has been able to spare his valuable time for the webinars on this important subject so close to his heart. I would also like to thank the panelists, Shri P.K. Malhotra, Shri Yeshwardhan Azad, Shri J.K. Gupta, and Mr. Devdutt. Of course, we missed Shri Dharmendra Dev Mishra ji, who couldn't join because of some technical challenges. I would like to thank the organizer, Mr. R.K. Maheshwari, CEO of Public Police NGO, for initiating and coordinating this webinar series. Now, I would request Shri Maheshwari for his closing remarks.
यही हम लोगों का टैक्स है कि हम लोगों को एक्चुअल एक्शन करनी चाहिए टू दी सर्विस टू द सीनियर सिटीजन्स। तो गवर्नमेंट से हो सकती है, प्राइवेटली हो सकती है, हम सब लोग मिलकर कर सकते हैं और बहुत सारे लोगों को जोड़ सकते हैं। एक नेशनल फोरम बना सकते हैं। अमेरिका में एक नेशनल फोरम फॉर ओल्ड मैन फोरम है, which is very powerful and effective in the elections, in the other political situation.
So, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to thank all participants who took their time off to be a part of this webinar and make it so interactive and lively. So those who have missed this webinar due to their other commitments today can watch it on the YouTube channel of Public Police NGO. Now, ladies and gentlemen, as intimated earlier, we have another program today wherein I shall be in conversation with a young person who would talk on the subject titled Digital Fraud Fighters. Yes, Kavi Arora shall be briefing us, the senior citizens, on this subject of great importance, as most of us are not cyber savvy. Kavi is just returned from a summer program on an introductory course on engineering and entrepreneurship at the Imperial College London, which inspired him to start this social initiative called Digital Fraud Fighters. The objective of his talk today is to help elders understand what scams are, how they can be spotted, and how we can protect ourselves from those scams. So, Kavi, the first question I would like to ask you, what are the objectives of this social initiative of yours called the Digital Fraud Fighters?
Well, actually, the main aim of this initiative is to inform and educate all the senior citizens out there about the realm of scams, all the new and upcoming scams that are taking place in today's times, how they can actually identify them, differentiate from genuine, legitimate scenarios, and even report them to the National Cyber Crime Reporting Portal. So I'll start with a short video clip.
Yes.
just to give you an example.
मैं SBI बैंक से स्वाति बात कर रही हूँ। सर, हमारे बैंक के सालाना लकी ड्रॉ में आपका अकाउंट नंबर पहले नंबर पर निकला है और सर बैंक की तरफ से आपको नई मारुति दी जा रही है।
मारुति कार? क्या कह रहे हैं आप? सच में?
सर, पुष्टि करना चाहूंगी कि आपका नाम शंकर जयदीप है।
जी जी बिल्कुल, वो सब छोड़िए, बताइए कार कैसे मिलेगी?
सर, आपके पास कार्ड तो होगा?
कार्ड? हाँ, वो कार्ड है मेरे पास।
हाँ, तो सर आपका कार्ड नंबर और उसकी एक्सपायरी डेट हमें बताइए सर।
6216805371।
Yes, it is that easy. It is that easy to fall prey to a scam. As you all saw just now, the teacher, despite being so educated, was lured in by the scammer's offer of a free prize, and without any hesitation, he gave up his card details. Every day, we see in the news about a scam that has occurred. Someone got cheated online, money was out of their account, their phone number was being used for someone else's name. I'm sure that we all think, what a fool, this can't happen to me, I'm so careful. However, the reality is that it can happen to anyone, be it me or you or our loved ones. My own mother fell prey to a marketing scam. Once the money was transferred and she realized it was a scam, she felt helpless. She lost trust in the online payment system and even her faith in humanity. Thus, I take this problem personally, which is why I came up with the idea Digital Fraud Fighters. Digital Fraud Fighters is a tool to empower older adults to spot, report, and protect themselves and their families from scams. Let's begin with a number. According to the Economic Times, online banking scams of the value near a staggering 130 crores have been reported in the year 2021 and 22. Let's look at another one. According to data from the National Crime Records Bureau report, forgery, cheating, and fraud constitute 11% of crimes committed against senior citizens. This is a serious problem which must be resolved. Let's have a look at why senior citizens are the ideal targets for scammers. Well, firstly, they are trusting in comparison to young adults and tend to openly listen to whatever the caller has to say. They have retirement savings, pension, and other sources of money in their accounts. Also, they're not as tech savvy and thus may not be aware of the new and upcoming scams taking place in the world. Also, they do not have a tendency to report frauds, either because they simply don't know how, or they are ashamed and have fear of their relatives losing confidence in their financial management capabilities. Even if they do report the frauds, they are sometimes unable to supply sufficient information to the investigators to actually help them get their money back. Let's look at a few scams that commonly takes place against senior citizens. In case of phishing, the scammer sends messages from fake business accounts requesting their targets for their personal information such as their Aadhaar card numbers, credit card details, bank account details, and so on and so forth. As you can see in the image, there is a very minute but important difference between the fake and legitimate business account, which is the small green tick mark that you can see, one second, right here. This is the indicator that the business account is verified. Unfortunately, many consumers fail to see such red flags and fall prey to the scams. Next is a tech support scam. Scammers pose as tech support experts and offer to fix non-existent computer issues. For example, they sometimes claim that your computer needs an urgent upgrade of the antivirus software or so-and-so damage was going to happen to it. They ask for remote access to the computer through a software called AnyDesk and end up uploading malware into the computer to steal your personal information. One way you can protect yourself from this is by firstly asking for the caller's credentials. What company do you work for and what email ID have you used to contact me? Then you should check if the repair is actually needed or not. Otherwise, do not give credit or debit card or bank account details to the caller unless you have asked for the repair service. Most importantly, think and act. Please do not be pressured by the callers to give the details now. Another popular scam is a free prize or lottery scam, and unfortunately, this yields the most targets. The caller claims that you have won a free lottery or a prize for being a loyal customer of the company. They ask you to send them a small amount of money for paying the taxes or the due fees, and they promise to return that amount along with the prize money. However, as soon as the money has been transferred, they immediately cut the call after the payment is made. This is exactly what happened with my mother, and she felt helpless. However, one way she could have protected herself was by actually cutting the phone and calling up that company through registered numbers from their websites. She could have verified that whether or not her account actually won any prize or not. Most importantly, do not pay any amount to the caller, however small, on a promise of repayment. It's a trap to loot your account. Finally, these are one of the newest scams in today's age, which is the impersonation scam. Scammers pose as government or RBI officials or any other authority and threaten to arrest the victims, claiming that their account has been linked to terror funding or some other bogus story. Sometimes they may even send messages pretending to be a relative or friend desperate for money. Finally, nowadays they are using AI-based deepfake technology to generate close to real images of the victim's colleague, boss, relative, etc. to scam them. However, there is a way to protect yourselves from this as well. One should note that police officers or RBI officials or any authority do not actually make calls saying that, oh, I'm going to arrest you now, unless you pay me some sort of money. That doesn't happen in today's world. Also, one thing that the victim should look out for is that if they suspect any suspicious behavior or change in voice or a blurry appearance of the colleague or relative, they should cut the call and call that person again, just to be sure that it's actually him. Most importantly, do not share your passwords and bank account details with anyone. These are a few real-life examples of scams, ranging from different social media platforms such as SMS or Instagram, or even just face-to-face calls. Here are a few simple tips to protect your money. One of the most important do's is to know your bank URL, its customer care number, and also to increase your own computer literacy and awareness. Most importantly, do not click on any link for downloads unless you have verified that the caller is legitimate. You might download malware or a computer virus that might give them access to your device. Do not share any confidential information with the callers unless you have verified. What if you did get scammed? What should we do next? Well, the first step is to report the scam to the National Cybercrime Reporting Portal with the helpline number 1930 or the website given on screen. This is an image of their web portal. It is a very user-friendly and easy to report the crime. However, unfortunately, most people are not aware of this portal or this helpline number, and thus they lose their money and can never get it back. Thankfully, if you report the crime within the first hour, the chances of tracking the money trail and getting it back increase by manifold. Then, the second step is to contact your bank to inform them about the scam, how it took place, through what medium, how much money has been transferred. They will freeze your bank account, block any transactions made with the credit and debit card. And if you do this within the first hour, there is a very high chance of getting your money back. And also, because the money trail can be located very easily within the first hour, there is a very high chance that the culprits can be given due justice. Now, I would like to present to you my solution to this menace to society: Digital Fraud Fighters. Through this initiative, I would like to educate and inform senior citizens about this grave problem and how they can actually protect themselves and their families from falling prey to frauds. One of the few goals of this program is to inform small groups of 10 seniors each about how to identify and spot scams and frauds. I would like to spread awareness among them about the latest scams, what to look out for, what not to do, provide them with information about how to report scams, the National Cyber Scam Reporting Portal, and also what legal action can be taken against these miscreants. I would like to organize role plays and skits, which would actually help them better identify scams, since they would include words which actually add pressure on the target, such as free, 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 or offer expires at the end of this call. Also, I have developed a game called Scammers vs. You using the app building software called Figma. They can play this game to better apply the knowledge that they have learned about scams. Well, I would like to conclude this presentation by stating that scams exploit ignorance. You must stay informed and arm yourself against fraud.
Well, thank you, Kavi. Thank you very much for your presentation. I'm sure many of us will benefit from this. I just want to know, what are your plans for future in this direction? Are you going to work this as a career, or your dream job? What is your dream job?
Well,
can you close the presentation, please?
Yes, I will.
Please close the presentation.
So before that, I would actually, I would like to show you a few pictures of the app that I've made. Okay. The plan was to make it look a little bit fun, so that they would actually enjoy playing it amongst themselves. And I created a plot that there are aliens living in this world and are terrorizing humans by intricate scams. And what the goal of the user is to actually find and spot these scams to, eliminate and remove the aliens from the world. So I've actually created a few sample levels as well. So it starts from here. So if you look here, this is a person speaking from Amazon customer service. He says that Amazon wants to give us a free iPhone 13 Pro as a reward for being a loyal customer. But to redeem this, he has to share his 12-digit Aadhaar number. And this offer only lasts till the end of this call. So the user gets an option to think and apply his or her mind about whether or not this is a scam. So at the end of each level, the user is going to get an explanation about why this is a scam or why this is a legitimate situation. So in this case, it's this caller is trying to lure the user into giving them the Aadhaar details, and also gives an insight into what we should actually look out for. And we should never give our sensitive data like our credit card details or Aadhaar card number to an unknown caller. So this is a sample level. I plan on creating at least 15 to 20 of these levels. And because technology and the different types of scams are evolving, I would like to evolve this app with that as well. Really, the question I asked you was, how do you see yourself in future? What is your dream job now? After having had this experience, after getting inspired to start this project, what is your dream job now? Well, I would actually like to take this app further. So I am currently in grade 11, about to move to grade 12 in March. So my dream college is Imperial College London. And I plan on gaining the expertise in computer science and UI design, which would actually help me to improve this app and also think deeply about how I can actually evolve this project and make it adapt to the changing technology and changing scams in the world. Okay, thank you very much. And now I'll request our friends, if they have any questions of Kavi, please go ahead. Presentation, everything was absolutely clear. I think that's why there are no questions. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been quite an informative session for us, the senior citizens. So I hope that all of us become wiser with Kavi's talk. I would like to thank Kavi for his informative and timely inputs for senior citizens. With that, we close today's session. We look forward to being with you with the next webinar sometime next month. Thank you for being a part of this webinar.
Thank you. Thank you to everyone. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, everyone.